Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You know, you'll regularly hear toxic Bitcoin maximalists assert that XRP and the XRP ledger helps to support the banks. And that's the reason that they're so against it at its core, right? Because XRP is bad for freedom, right? Of course, it can't be that it risks their heavy Bitcoin bags becoming worth less against the dollar. No, can't be that. Can't be that at all, right? It has to be that XRP specifically is designed, and that's all it does is it helps the banks, right? But you see, that's not true. And frankly, technologically speaking, XRP can be far more disruptive to the legacy banking system than Bitcoin ever could. Them's the facts, son. And we're gonna be breaking this down. Look, I'm gonna explain why in this video, by sharing commentary from a couple. First of all, XRP co-creator David Schwartz, as well as perspective from a developer who's building on the XRP ledger, who has nothing to do with Ripple, by the way. And it's also worth noting that although distributed ledger technologies such as the XRP ledger do make central authorities like banks unnecessary in many ways, it doesn't mean that banks will absolutely 100% go away. It does mean that they'll increasingly be less relevant if they don't adapt to changing times. The business models of banks will likely look unrecognizable in the decades to come compared to where we are right now. But there will always be some people who want a centralized authority to custody their digital assets and their fiat currency. So there's going to be something to do that, right? And they may still be great for accessing personal or business loans in specific circumstances, though, as you'll see in this video, even the loan aspect of their business model is being eaten by the world of crypto. And my friends, your XRP plays a huge role in this revolution. I think we picked the winner. It could not be more obvious that XRP is here to stay. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. But before I start highlighting what David Schwartz had to say, let me first highlight this. I don't know, I'm assuming some of you that have been around for a few years are going to remember this, but I just want to point out, since we're going to be talking about tokenization and just how crucial that is, to change the way the world works in a number of ways. I mean, it really is it's a digital revolution. That is what we're talking about here. But all of this will ensure the long-term viability of XRP itself, because all of this stuff that I'm talking about in this video requires XRP. There's way more than just one use case. I know that Ripple wants to position XRP as a bridge currency, and they have. I mean, they're doing it. But it can do so much more. And that's where the Bitcoin maxis, they get twisted. Like, oh, you're helping banks to convert from one fiat currency to another with helping with their messaging system. That makes Ripple evil, and that makes XRP bad. Well, first of all, the reason that you can't do that with Bitcoin, I mean, technically you could plug it into the code, but the reason nobody wants to is because Bitcoin would add friction because it's too slow, and it would actually add cost because Bitcoin's technology is just inferior to XRP. So that's why they don't. But that's that's the thing. So like, you could plug any digital asset in there, but you can also do a whole lot of other stuff with XRP. So all the things that the Bitcoin maxis would say, this is why Bitcoin is good, XRP can do all of those things. On the flip side, there are things that XRP can do that Bitcoin absolutely cannot. And so when it comes to tokenization, which literally requires XRP, this is yet another thing that's going to ensure the long-term viability of XRP and the XRP ledger. And I want to start by sharing with you just to point it out, like, we've believed that this is the direction things were going to go, like, since the beginning of the XRP community. Before I even knew XRP existed, people were talking about this. And I've been here since 2017. Before I knew XRP existed, people in our community had figured this out, and that this matters, this is the future. And now it's a narrative in 2025, which I love. It's kind of hilarious. It comes around. But even years ago, there were examples of this, like, and there's one on your screen right here. And this one ended up failing, but not because of the technology. I'll explain in a second here. But look at this headline from July 30th of 2022. And I remember making videos about this one at the time. It's about tokenization, and it's so cool. The headline is "The First Version of Colombia's National Land Registry Deployed on Ripple XRPL." And so we're talking about literally tokenizing land for the government of Colombia, for that country, on the XRP ledger. Take a look at this. Ripple partner Peersys has produced the first version of Colombia's National Land Registry on XRP ledger. Peersys Technology, a Ripple partner, has announced that it has published the first version of Colombia's National Land Registry. The document can be found on Colombia's National Land Agency website. And there's a post that Peersys shared at the time. And I just thought it was the coolest damn thing. I'm like, this requires the usage of XRP. They're recognizing the utility of tokenizing real-world assets on a blockchain. Awesome. You'll love to see this. And pretty cool stuff here. I think they're light years ahead of most of the planet. And by the way, worth mentioning also, they were actually trying to develop this initially on the Ethereum chain. And they never announced why they stopped doing that, but they switched specifically to the XRP ledger, which I found fascinating. So whatever smart contract functionality the Ethereum blockchain has that the XRP ledger doesn't, because there is no smart contract functionality native on the XRP ledger, though that's going to change, I think, at some point in the future. It didn't matter. They found that the XRP ledger was a better fit for this use case. And that doesn't surprise me when we're talking about tokenization. Yeah, the answer is yes, of course. Now, unfortunately, right after that, we got this headline: Colombia government halts project using Ripple XRPL for land registry, and the reason's right here. And we never did get the specifics, but I'm not surprised by that. But here, you can see a change in government has prompted Colombia to suspend registering land titles on the Ripple network. And of course, they should have called it the XRP ledger. But anyway, setting that aside, there was a change in government, and it wasn't that it failed. It's like right after this started, they're like, nope, we're not doing that. But the promise has always been there, and we're seeing more of that promise today. And you've seen, especially over the last half year, we've seen major leaps forward in this very obvious and very real use case being adopted on the XRP ledger, like this headline from November 25th. Ripple Archax debut first tokenized money market fund on XRP ledger. So there you go. Real world assets tokenized on the XRP ledger. Here's another one. This is from August 1st, 2024. Open Eden launches Treasury T-bills on XRP ledger. That's right, folks. Government debt issued on the XRP ledger. And again, for the transactions of this, XRP is required literally for all of it. So the more this type of thing happens, the further XRP is just cemented in crypto history. It's not going to go away. We're going the right direction. This is in addition to anything that Ripple is doing, specifically positioning XRP as a bridge currency. This is a real thing that people have recognized makes sense. And so there's this video clip, this happened to have been shared by Bank XRP, highlighting what David Schwartz had to say about this, and he just nailed it. He just explained why tokenization matters and what it is in a very easy to understand way. And so I transcribed what he said in this video. So this is David Schwartz. He says, tokenization can improve efficiency by eliminating some of the problems with asset transfers and ownership. If you've ever bought a house, you know that it's very complicated to determine who owns a house. There's a lot of paperwork involved with the sale, recording the sale. There's a risk of fraud in the delivery of the payment. And then, of course, in being able to prove ownership of the asset. Tokenization can eliminate all of those problems by using digital distributed ledgers to track the ownership of assets. That also simplifies things, like if you want to borrow against the asset, use the asset for collateral. The person who's providing you the loan can more easily determine that you own the asset, and they can make sure that you aren't borrowing from a number of different lenders. So folks, this is very obvious utility. This is better than the way it was done before. It's instant. You don't need a whole bunch of middlemen, and it just works. It just works. It's very obvious this is the future. There are so many things that just should be tokenized on blockchains. And when it comes to houses, and there are other chains where people are doing this right now. Proppy comes to mind, for example, that have been trying to move real estate on the blockchain exactly for this type of use case. But the point is, the XRP ledger is getting a piece of this type of thing. I mean, fine, Colombia's government, with the change in who's in charge, they decided to not proceed with it even though it functionally worked. Okay, they don't have to, but doesn't that show you? Like, doesn't it show you something, the fact that that was developed and it functionally worked? And now, again, we've seen years pass, and look at where we are in 2025 now, And you're just seeing more of that. But you have to have forward-thinking people. And if not everybody's forward-thinking, then when you get a change in administration, that's the type of crap that happens here. But as far as having ownership for homes, and I mean, it could be commercial properties, you name it. We're going to increasingly be in a ever more liquid world. It's going to be easier to get in and out of positions and have fractional ownership in all sorts of things. It could be rare art, for example. But reducing the paperwork and making so that it's cheap for these transactions and instantaneous, that's what makes this attractive. So yes, you could always have fractional ownership in anything without this technology, but why don't people do that more frequently? Well, there's the central authority. You have to go to that. It's a whole process. It can be expensive. It takes time to get in and out of these things. There could be contracts that need to be written up for various types of acquisitions. But what if we just streamline this and get rid of all that crap where you don't need it? Because now with this technology, for the first time in human history, you can do that with distributed ledger technology. That's immutable. You don't have to trust an authority. All you have to trust is that cryptography works. That's it. And it does. So that's it. That's the only trust you need, is in cryptography. And this is what's happening right now. So that's why it's like, yes, your XRP that you own, all of this is playing a huge role in this revolution. You have stumbled upon something before most humans. That is a matter-of-fact statement. That's why there's this opportunity for life-changing wealth. We did find something before most people have ever even heard about it. And we did enough research to get to this point where we understand, oh wow, this thing's not going away because this is useful. Utility matters and will win the day. That's at the very core of my investment thesis. So now let me share with you perspective from somebody who is actually building on the XRP ledger himself. And this would be Panos. And here you can see, self-described here, co-founder of Anodos Finance, onboarding the masses to DeFi and XRP ledger. And this is somebody, I got to tell you, he's one of the most informed individuals in our community, in my humble opinion. This guy does indeed know his stuff. And he drops knowledge. I will tell you that. He just drops it right on you. So check out what he had to say about this. And it's just so cool to me that this is the narrative for 2025. And again, we in the community, we've known this since the beginning of the existence of XRP and the XRP ledger. And now this is a thing that matters 12 years later. It's just freaking cool as hell. It's just the way things line up. It's just like, how can things be so disastrously against us in one cycle 4 years ago and then so ridiculously for us this cycle? With the legal clarity, the Trump administration coming in and literally favoring XRP just because it was created in the United States, and this old narrative from 12 years ago, now it's popular in 2025 during the bull run. There's just all sorts of crazy stuff like this. So I'm like, how is this happening? That this is real life somehow? I'm for it. So anyway, here's what he had to say, and I'll make this full screen. It says, the real-world asset tokenization combined with the Internet of Value is going to be the biggest financial revolution of the century and reshape the digital asset landscape, as well as the global financial system. An XRP ledger will play a big role in that revolution. Why? Well, the tokenization of real-world assets refers to the process of digitally representing real-world assets on distributed ledgers / blockchains, or issuing traditional asset classes in a tokenized form. In simple words, it's the concept of digitalizing ownership rights. And why would someone do that? What are the benefits? A large chunk of the world's wealth today is locked in illiquid assets, the majority of which are held by high net worth individuals. There are also asset classes only accessible to limited wealthy investors / institutions. Tokenizing real-world assets connects real-world economic activity with the efficiencies of a global 24/7 market powered by blockchain. The tokenization of real-world assets has the potential to significantly reshape the digital asset landscape, as well as the global financial system at large. Tokenization of illiquid assets is expected to be a $16 to $68 trillion opportunity globally by 2030. Nah, folks, that is so massive. That's 5 years out from now. And I do want to say something, because sometimes, and I've seen XRP influencers, I don't know if they're doing it like understanding that they're misleading people, or if they really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Maybe it's both, depending on who you're talking about. But just because you see $68 trillion, that doesn't mean that's what the market cap of a coin would be. These are different things. You could tokenize something that's worth $1 trillion and then have a representation of that on the XRP ledger. That doesn't mean that XRP is now worth $1 trillion. That is not what that means. That means that there's, again, something that was tokenized that just represents something in the real world, okay? It's not XRP. Now, stuff like that, if it actually happens, and if we are going that direction, as I keep highlighting, that will instill confidence in XRP, which will, I firmly believe, result in tons more businesses and individuals increasingly invest more money into XRP, propping the price of XRP ever higher as years and decades pass. That I believe. But don't get this twisted. If there's trillions of dollars of assets tokenized on the XRP ledger, which is a thing that can happen, that does not mean that's the market cap for XRP. Just to be super clear, for years and years and years, before I even started this channel, I was seeing people stating that, and I was like, okay, either you don't get it or you're intentionally misleading. Either is bad. So let's just clear that, right? Clear it up. Anyway, he continues here, though. He says, and how do all these connect to the Internet of Value? It says, until now, trading these assets has required an intermediary like a bank. Blockchain allows any type of asset to be transferred from one party directly to another with no middleman. By creating a shared ledger where people can own their own data, it also enables a shift in the locus of value within economy to the individual and network. So folks, when I started this video by talking about how the toxic Bitcoin maximalists are a bunch of damn idiot sticks for screaming that XRP and the XRP ledger, it's good for the banks. No, I mean, if you're talking about XRP being used as a bridge currency and that can help any legacy finance, okay, but then you could plug any coin in there, including Bitcoin. You could do that. But here, as you can see, it's not helping the banks. This is good news for us right here as XRP holders. This is very bad news for the banks. This is very bad news for them, just to be super clear. And a lot of this, the reasons why, there will be certain points anyway, where it's the same for Bitcoin and XRP, but XRP Ledger can do more stuff, including with tokenization of things here. Anyway, Panos continues. He says, the Internet of Value, or IOV for short, is a concept proposed by Ripple that envisions a world where value moves and is exchanged like information is exchanged today in the Internet era. The Internet of Value can enable the exchange of any asset that is of value to someone, including stocks, votes, frequent flyer points, securities, intellectual property, music, scientific discoveries, and more. A truly interconnected world. On a macroeconomic level, the Internet of Value could also help drive down the cost of goods and transactions as the liquidity would increase. In today's country-specific systems, companies and banks must tie up large sums of money in local currencies for countries in which they do business in order to make transactions. It is estimated that there is over $5 trillion sitting idle all over the world in bank accounts just to make transactions around the world. And so, folks, so that's one thing where, okay, XRP is a bridge currency. That's the whole Nostra Vostra account thing that y'all have been beaten over the head with for years now. Unless you're brand new, in which case, welcome to the party. But as far as, what he was talking about specifically before that, tokenizing, and you can do things that up until this point and move value today in ways that up until this point you would have needed a central authority like a bank. How is that not ridiculously, glaringly, obviously changing the way that people treat things of value using the internet? Well, it just is, though. So kudos to you for paying attention and being aware of this. But to those toxic Bitcoin maximalists, my God, XRP is being used to harm, like they view the banks as the enemy. I don't quite look at it exactly the same. Though I recognize, the negative aspects of the modern banking system. Could probably find some interest there. But again, XRP and XRP Ledger can do more to break that down, is what I'm saying. They just view it as the enemy. And that's why they view us as the enemy, because they believe, many of them do, that this is helping to prop up the system. It's doing more to dismantle it, frankly. It just is. Like specifically with XRP, it just is. Anyway, he continues here. It says an internet of value that eliminates the need for these accounts suddenly frees up large sums of cash that can be more effectively put to use in the global economy. The potential use cases are plenty, from instant transactions and real-time settlement to tokenization of assets, lending, smoother international trade, more robust digital agreements, and more. Tokenization and the Internet of Value could facilitate increased financial inclusion and drive the disintermediation of financial institutions as new services and value exchanges are created directly on the blockchain. That is exactly correct. And that's where the banks actually should be afraid. That's a huge part of it right there. The disintermediation of financial institutions. You can do stuff now with this technology that traditionally you would have needed some sort of central authority like a bank to do for these transactions. And so you do need more of that world to get onto blockchain so that you can use it. But the answer is yes, you can. And yes, it does work. And he says, ultimately, the use of this technology will facilitate a financial revolution that will leave everyone more financially connected, empowered, and enabled. That was a great thread, isn't it? That's a great write-up, and it perfectly highlights in simple terms, without getting into unnecessary nuts and bolts of from a technological perspective, how transactions work, because it's not necessary on this level anyway, to just understand what you can do, what the opportunity is with XRP and the XRP ledger. It explains why tokenization is so important, the scale of it, why it makes sense. It's big. It's really big. And there's always been this opportunity for the XRP ledger. There are reasons, many reasons, that XRP has always been in the top 10 coins by market cap its entire existence, despite the government attacking it, the SEC specifically. That's impressive. The rest of the world sees what you see. Ain't going away, my friends, folks. Like it's just gonna get bigger. And there are so many reasons to be excited for this. And we're in a bull run while all this is happening. Y'all love to see it. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.